After a long week, every single person I know looks forward to the weekend so that they can take a break and relax. But let's be honest, there's always some more work that we could do on the weekends. Could be studying for an exam, catching up on some more work, getting ahead for the next week, or even making YouTube videos. And I used to dread having to do work on the weekends until one day when I brought my laptop to a coffee shop and I did my work there instead. And I absolutely loved it. Something just clicked for me about working in a coffee shop. And ever since then, I look forward to the weekends for a completely different reason, and it's to do even more work. And it all started by doing my work at a coffee shop. Now, coffee is literally a drug. Like, I mean, it has caffeine. So it's super addictive, right? But I mean, of all the things that you could possibly be addicted to, I'd rather it be caffeine than something like weed or something else, right? So, and not only is caffeine not that bad of a drug to be addicted to, it's also shown to have some health benefits as well. Caffeine is known to increase your energy. That's why some of the most successful people you know are addicted to coffee and have a coffee every single morning, right? Caffeine also increases your body's release of something called adrenaline. And what that does is, one, like I said, it increases your energy, but also it actually causes neuroplasticity, which is your brain's ability to adapt and form new connections between neurons. So it literally helps you learn better as well. So honestly, caffeine's kind of a wonder drug in this sense. But now we know caffeine is addictive, right? But when you pair drinking coffee with something like working, right? Doing the tasks that you need to do, something interesting happens, right? Because, for example, when I go to the coffee shop, I order my mocha, and then I sit down and I work for hours. And what happens is my brain actually fuses these two different events together. It's pairing two different events, and this is called habit stacking. It's pairing something that I like to do, which is drink coffee, and something that I've become addicted to doing, with something that I want to do, with a habit that I want to install, which is doing my work, right? And my brain doesn't actually know the difference between drinking the coffee and doing the work. My brain gets addicted to the entire process, and that's what habit stacking is. So you can literally make yourself get addicted to doing work. So you crave doing the work by associating it with something that you already like to do or something that is very addicting. So now literally I look forward. I crave going to the coffee shop to do my work every single weekend. And I've been so much more productive for it. Now, the next thing is, because I've now associated the coffee shop with doing work, my brain has automatically, every time I enter the coffee shop, it goes into this kind of focus mode. So our brain has different modes, right? For example, when it's time to eat, our brain will go into eating mode. When it's time to sleep, our brain will go into sleeping mode. And when we're doing work, our brain goes into working mode, right? And when I used to work at home in this room, I used to have such a hard time focusing. And that's because I don't do anything in this room really besides sleeping. So when I sit down and do work in this room, my brain goes into sleeping mode. And obviously, I won't be as productive when my brain is in sleeping mode as I could be if my brain is in working mode. So now that I've trained my brain to crave doing work at the coffee shop, my brain also automatically enters work mode every time I go to the coffee shop. So my brain is also more primed to do work at the coffee shop than it is to do work at home. So not only am I addicted to working at the coffee shop, I'm also more productive at the coffee shop than I would be at home. which is kind of crazy to think about. This is such a cheat code to getting so much more work done on the weekends. Now, there's also something really nice about the environment of a coffee shop. Just the fact that there's things going on around you and you have these random little social interactions just kind of makes the atmosphere a little bit nicer. When you go in and you order your food from your barista, you're making these social connections. Even if you're not going to be friends with the people making your coffee, it's just the little conversations like, hey, how was your day? How's it going? Those kinds of things release a little bit of dopamine in your brain, and it just makes the experience more enjoyable. And when you're working at a coffee shop, you also see other people in the coffee shop working. Almost every single time I've been to the coffee shop, even when I go at 6 in the morning, every single day that I go, and I've gone every twice a week, so every Saturday and Sunday for the past month now, and I always see other people doing work at the same time. And this kind of puts a little bit of pressure on you, not a pressure in a bad way, but it puts a little bit of pressure saying, oh, all these other people are doing work. I should lock in and do my work too. So it's a nice little way to get yourself motivated to work as well, right? Because if you're at home, you don't see anyone else working, right? You kind of assume that everyone's just out enjoying their lives. So you'll also want to go out and enjoy your life. But if you're surrounded by people that are also working, you'll also want to do the work. And something else that I do is I work at a coffee shop that's very close to my college campus. So there are some times where I actually run into people that I know at the coffee shop, which is always quite nice. Just last weekend, when I went to the coffee shop, I ran into someone that I wouldn't normally see on like a day to day basis. We're like friends of friends, right? And we ended up sitting together and working all morning, and we were super productive. And it was quite nice, actually. It was a pleasant experience. And it's social, it's social, but not in a distracting way, right? Because I didn't set out to go be social, right? I set out to do my work, and so did my friend. They also set out to do their work, right? So when you both have the intention of getting work done, you can have the social interactions, but you ultimately end up being productive because that was what your goal was as well. Anyway, that wraps up this video. If you want to be more productive on your weekends, try giving this a shot. Just bring your laptop and do your work at a coffee shop, and you'll thank me later for it. I'll see you next time.